Hey guys, I just posted a note card video and I just wanted to explain, I guess, a little bit more about each of it because I basically put like bare minimum on each one because I didn't want to sit here and make a 20-minute long video. I don't think YouTube allows that, but I'm not sure. So I'll just start by like explaining more about each one, I guess. So I'm Samara, as you guys read, and I'm 17. I'm a junior. I live in New York, and I'm just crazy. Not literally mentally crazy, I'm just have a big imagination. You can leave it at that, I guess. And then there's like the next ones. I'm not perfect, nowhere near it. I've never claimed to be perfect. People have said you're so amazing, whatever most people compliments some people get. I've never believed any of it. I think it's all chauvinistic. I don't think it makes any sense. But I just don't believe what people say. I do think I have a great personality at points, but I do have my faults, which is why I'm not perfect. This card that says I'm going to show the world stuff that not even my mother knows. Yeah. The one about me being molested, my mom doesn't know. To this day, I'm 17. It stopped when I was 12. I never said anything to her about it at all. I have no intentions on it, even though many people will say that I should. But I have absolutely no intentions. Everyone seems to know except for my family. My friends know. My counselor knows. Some of my teachers know. But my mom doesn't. In my mind, it does not matter, because even if there was something to do, statute of limitations has been up for 4 years, 2 years, 2 years, because that was up when I was 15, and when I was 15 I was nowhere near ready to even tell my best friend anything about what happened. I plan on my mom never finding out, because it would kill her, and I don't feel like bringing her more pain. And this stuff about dying, that I've experienced a lot of death, I have. My family is a very old family. My aunt is one of 13, but as generations passed, they started having less and less kids. So I do have my fair share of cousins from her side. But right now it's pretty much a lot of people. We're an old family, so we're slowly, the older ones are slowly going, and yeah. My grandmother, she was kind of like my world when I was younger. She was everything to me, no matter what. Okay, I have to put music on. She was my world. We did everything together. Not as much as my grandfather, but she was kind of like one of the rocks of my family. After that, we all just kind of split and went our separate ways. My grandfather, after my grandmother died, me and my grandfather were close for a couple years, but he was a very old man himself. My grandmother died when she was 72. He was a couple years younger than her. So he ended up going into a nursing home, and I guess it just became a lot to handle. He felt like we were abandoning him. My mom had a lot to do, so I barely got to see him. But I do have a lot of memories with my grandfather that I will always treasure. He is and will always be known as an amazing man. Everyone loved him. The nurses at the nursing home were just in love with him. Yeah. And my dad, I never really knew my dad at all, but he was kind of his own person. Him and my mom weren't together, so I never got to see him. And then he died 9/11. I think what would happen if he was still here? Would he be a part of me? Or would he still be the same way he was before? That kind of rules my decision about him. Depends on the day, on what I think. But yeah, there's been a lot more deaths. A lot, like I said, very old family. The part about me being molested, it was by my cousin. She was a girl, and it happened for 3 consecutive years. I didn't know what I was doing. I was young, but not that young. It kind of started after my grandmother was gone. When you have someone older than you, and they tell you everything's okay, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing, you kind of go with it. I regret not telling anyone, but it was when I was 17, it was when I was 9, so quite a few years ago. But yeah. The part about school is what I really like talking about. Well, not like talking about, it kills me, but I've never been someone who's the one, like how they say, popular girls always going out, making friends, everything else. I was never like that, and I'm still not. People scare me. I blow it off by saying I don't like people. People scare me. I'm scared to death about what people will think of me. Terrified of it. Like I said, I'm an awkward person. I'll be perfectly fine if we talk more than 2 days. I'll be the me with the wild personality. But before that, and if I've never talked to you or barely talked to you, I'm awkward. I'm weird. I act like I don't want to be there because I probably don't want to be there. I am very good at reading people, so if I get a vibe that you're kind of judging me, I will walk away, even if it's in the middle of a conversation. That's one thing that's good about me. I can read people's emotions and their facial expressions pretty well. I've gotten better with my shyness. Before, I used to never talk to anyone who didn't talk to me, but that kind of changed after I got into 9th grade. I was better at that. I'm still getting better at it, but shyness isn't ever an easy thing to get over. And in 7th grade, I got in a fight with the softball team. It started over something really stupid, really simple, something that could have been blown over so easily, but it just kept escalating. And me in 7th grade, I didn't even have any idea what these words meant, aka being called a skank and a whore. I had no idea what they meant. In 7th grade, I was in a shell. I didn't know what a whore was. I had a good idea from watching TV, but I had no idea what it was, to be honest. And I really couldn't figure out why they were calling me it, or what it was led to. I've made a lot of mistakes, but I can honestly say I've never made enough mistakes to be called one of those words. And probably half the stuff that people have heard that makes it seem like I have made that many mistakes is a lie, because I haven't. And mainly the people who believe these don't know me from Adam, and have barely ever had a conversation with me, especially if they act like they know about my personal life. If you don't talk to me on a daily basis for at least a year and a half, probably longer, you don't know anything about my personal life. Even then, if I don't trust you, I'll be your friend even if I don't trust you, but you won't know about my personal life, especially those details. You'll have no idea. I didn't believe people at first. I was just like, whatever, it's just playground bullshit. But after a while, it got to me. I went home crying, thought I wasn't good enough. It just escalated to I don't even know. And in the summer of 2010, I was raped. I have very little to no memory of that night. People say that's a blessing. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time. You don't ever want to remember something like that, but at the same time, it helps if you, I guess, knew what happened. It's easier to get over when you know what's happened to you rather than just guessing. That's the difficult subject, mainly because I don't remember half of what happened. That was the summer before 9th grade. Everything was still escalating. I got in a lot of fights that included the words I mentioned earlier. I said them, other people said them, rumors went around. Basically, stuff that should have stayed in middle school didn't. And by the time I got to 9th grade, I didn't want anything to do with life. I was done. I spent my nights crying my eyes out, not knowing what to do. I disconnected from everybody. I didn't want friends. So in case I ever did decide to make that wretched decision, I didn't want anyone to be hurt. I spent all my time in my room. I didn't do anything. I just sat there and thought and thought, and went on Facebook and saw what everyone would say about me. And I progressively got into more and more fights where people would say things that now I really hope that they regret, but I don't know. I was done. I just didn't want anything to do with anything. I was just depressed. I had so much anxiety I couldn't even walk down a hallway by myself. I wouldn't go to the bathroom at school because I'd always think someone was near me. I had that feeling that someone was always behind me. Classic signs of schizophrenia, but I don't have that. It's just high anxiety. You are in fear of what happens, what's going to happen, even if nothing is going to happen. You just fear that something is going to happen 24/7. I didn't sleep. In 8th grade, I went a month with pretty much getting bare minimum like 30 minutes of sleep every other day. I just stayed awake. I couldn't sleep. I just didn't really know what to do. And then in October of 2010, there was this kid that I've known about since probably 5th grade, and I never really talked to him. Um, my brother knew him, and I knew who he was, but I didn't know anything else besides that. And we had first period and study halls together some days in ninth grade. So he was kind of a shy person, didn't really talk to many people as I perceived, but as I said, I didn't know his life at that point. And one day in study hall, that's why I'll always bless Mr. Whitaker's study halls, I went over and I was just like, I know we don't really talk much, but I just want to say that I think you're a really cool person, and how you don't really care what people think from what I see. I just wanted to say I think that's really cool. Those are words I'll always live by. He turned my life around, made it so much better. His name's Julian. We're still just best friends. It'll be 3 years in this October. I couldn't ask for anything more. He made me do a complete 360, and when I came back to the point where I was before, I had a different outlook. I was still depressed, still had anxiety, still everything else. Those are medical problems a best friend can't cure. He just made it better, made it easier to go into school. We became best friends like that. It was like nothing. He actually seemed like he cared, and I know he does. In these past 3 years, we've had only 2 horrible fights where I thought things weren't gonna work out with me and him even being friends. But he did save me. We're still best friends, and I swear on my life, I'll do everything in my power to keep that. He's made a difference, more than a lot of people have. And I know it's kind of weird to say, but if I didn't talk to him that day in study hall, I don't know if I'd be sitting here right now. He doesn't like the praise of saving me. He doesn't think that he did. But I can honestly say I believe in my heart, in my mind, in every inch of me, he did. I'll never be healed. When you have depression, you can revert right back into it. I was on medication for 2 years. This year, I was finally healthy enough in February to stop taking it. It was a big change, especially going through withdrawal. But I'm stronger. I do have resources now to go to in case I ever do need help again. But as far as I'm concerned, I won't need them because I'm a stronger person, and I have everyone in my life to thank for that. Even all the bad people, they only made me stronger. But I'd also like to say that not everybody can heal from bullying, and if anyone would ever like to talk to me, I'm willing to talk to absolutely anyone, because I think if I could do it as low as I was, and as done as I was, anybody else can do it. You just need one person to stand there and say that they're with you. Bye, guys.